boy. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, to the craziness, madness of the STI build. I don't know, part 215. We are currently at a, not so much at a standstill anymore. Behind me, I have a box on the table, and I will open that in 1 second here. But we will be installing today the oil feed line, because I did the oil drain line. I did the oil drain line a couple days ago. We'll do that, and you know, that'll be that, and get whatever's on this box, which you can probably see what it is. But yeah, I want to ask you guys a quick question. So I've been debating on what I should do as far as getting these, I don't know what you want to call these. I don't know. I have a Perrin, you know, AOS here. So I'm looking to do these, you know, these front breather caps, hoses, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to do them in rubber or if I should do them in AN line. I don't exactly know. So when I bought this AOS, I got it secondhand, and it was in really, really good condition. Came with everything I needed except for the line. So obviously you can tell this is super bright green, and it's gonna be super clashy with what I got going on here. So I'm gonna powder coat this, probably the same color as this. And then whenever I get my front mount, I'll do all the front mount piping in the silver. That's probably what I'm going to do. But what I was thinking about doing with this, instead of buying like instead of buying like hose, like, you know, like regular hose that goes on, you know, wherever, you know, for this stuff that you would normally get from Perrin, I thought about just doing AN line. Oh, that's a small AN line. Where is my AN line? Hold on. All right, so I wanted to know if you guys would be diametrically opposed to actually me doing this. So it's 6 AN line, the same kind of AN line that I ran all the fuel lines in. But the problem is that I don't have any fittings. So I'd have to buy fittings, which is not that big of a deal. So I did have these parts here, which is, you know, the front breather for the AOS, for the stock intercooler, you know, like breather pipes or whatever. So it's this one here. And then I have this one all the way out here. So they are in decent condition, so I can kind of use some of them. So my plan is to probably cut a little bit off here, put one of these, what do you want to call these? You know, plastic, you know, like fittings, like these fittings here. Put one of these fittings or something like that into here. Oh, well, that's just great. So anyway, throw one of these fittings like this up into here, so I can connect my hose and then go to the AOS like that. I think it'll be a cleaner look than to go with like rubber hose, because let me show you guys something. Let me take this off the stand here, and I'll show you guys what I have going on here. So on both sides of the back, I'll show you. So I have this, I ran this like rubber hose from here 90 degrees all the way up into the vent. And then on the other side, if you can tell, it is breather hose, 90 degree, and all the way to the back half. So that, you know, the stock one, it came in this weird kind of shape. So do I have the stock one still? I thought I had it, but apparently I don't. But the one on this side, it came up over and went like this. So I didn't like the design, and I really didn't want to do it. And it was the same thing on this side. It came up and over, and then it went into this, to the back part of this breather hose back here. So I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted it kind of like streamlined. So I made my own hose with a couple 90-degree plastic elbows. Since there's not going to be any coolant or anything going through them, like, it's really not going to hurt them. So I wanted to keep it like that, really low key, keep the engine bay really nice and tidy. So that's going to be that. But yeah, so I didn't really want to run that. But on the other side, it's going to be a little difficult because there's like weird angles and stuff like that. So I feel like, you know, at least with, you know, the bottom part here, and then cutting somewhere around here, which there's already a nice line there, cut there, and then put you know, my plastic fittings in there, and then running my AN line I think it would be a lot nicer and a lot tidier to do it like that than to go with you know, just trying to do plastic or rubber hose all the way everywhere. So I think that's what I'm probably looking at doing. But yeah, since I already have some of these lines already run, I think what I'm gonna do is just leave it for right now and worry about a couple things. So in today's video, what I want to try to focus on is getting the cylinder 4 cooling mod, which is right back here. If you guys did not know, cylinder 4 cooling mod goes here, and you just take this plug out, you just plug the thread in. It's a threaded thing, which I will go over in a couple minutes here. It's a threaded port, and then it's like an AN fitting that goes on here, and it connects to one of these two lines, and it tees off, and then it goes right into here. So it's really, really nice setup. And I want to get that in before I actually get it into the car, because once I get it into the car, it's going to be a pain in the butt to do. So I'm trying not to do that. So we're going to be off to the races. I'm going to get the oil feed line run, and I want to get the cooling mod run before we actually move on to anything else, while I wait for new fittings and stuff like that, so I can actually run this AOS. I will be powder coating that, and yeah, we can kind of move on. And you know what, like, I want your advice. I'm trying to look for plugs for these bad boys. So I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with you know, with this Perrin. I don't think it's the right one for this car, but you know, they all work the same. So I think I'm just gonna plug this one. This one's already plugged. There was one port in the back which I plugged. Yeah, I did plug it back there, if you can see it. And I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do about my blow-off valve. I don't know if I'm gonna go straight atmospheric or if I'm just gonna plumb it back in. I don't exactly know just yet. Dan wants me to go with a super sequential, but I feel like everything's got a super sequential on it. So yeah, I really don't want to go that route. Maybe going a Greddy Type S or something like that, maybe a little bit better, or a tile. I'm not exactly sure. I know some people have had issues with tiles before. So yeah, I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do, but let's get on to the video. I think I want to actually put the coils on, the coil on plug setup on, and go to the store and get some, you know, I don't know, spark plugs for those. Get that all done so I don't have to really worry about it, and maybe an O2 sensor, because I had to pull the O2 sensor out. So anyway, we got a couple things today. It is a gorgeous day outside for once. It's been raining like crazy. So let's get to unboxing what we got in the box over there. I'm gonna run to the store, get some you know, spark plugs, and then we can move forward. So let's go. All right, people, so as you can tell, I took the Evo to go get some stuff from the store, but I do have the engine wheeled over here, and we will be working on it in this location for at least today. So like I said before, the focus is gonna be to get the oil feed routed, and I have decided that I probably will put on the you know, the pipe here for the blow-off valve, because I don't know exactly which route I'm gonna go with. So I'm just gonna put it on there, and if I decide to go atmospheric, I can just plug it with a, you know, whatever big rubber thing or whatever, and close it all up. So yeah, let's get started. You know what, let's crack open this box over here. Let's show you guys exactly what I kind of got and why I decided to go with what I went with. So let's rock this up. Can you see my, oh, you can see my phone. Oh yeah, my phone was just going off, so couldn't really answer it, didn't really hear it. But yeah, I went with a set of Denso Iridiums. All right, let me tell you guys something real quick. I am not an advocate for Iridium plugs. I don't like them, but you know, what are you gonna do? Like, these are the only ones that they kind of had. I think I will order a set of plugs that I really do like, but this is definitely second best here. I do like to run copper in all my cars. So as you guys know from earlier videos, I really don't like Iridiums. I never have, never will. For boosted cars, like, you want to run a really tight, you know, gap here for spark plugs. And with these, it's really hard to get that gap So like without messing up the tip, because you're really not supposed to gap these, but I'm you know, I'm a rebel. So I'm gonna put these over here, and let's open this bad boy up. Bruh. All right. Yellow box, you already know what it is. All right. So I went with a ACT clutch. All right. So let me give you a couple reasons why I went with this clutch instead of something else. So this clutch is a full face clutch, and I've run a bunch of different clutches in the past, and I've never really run an ACT clutch. So this will be my first actual ACT clutch that I actually own, that I bought myself anyway. There is one with the Black Evo. So we'll see how that kind of plays out once we actually get to, you know, working on that car. But it did come with the car, so whatever. It is what it is. But I have this clutch here now, mainly because I want to kind of keep this thing a daily. So the Evo right now, it's got a stage 4 competition 4 or 6 puck clutch in it, and it's a really good clutch. I really do like it, and I have no issues with it. The problem is that like I don't daily that car, and I plan on dailying the STI. So what I plan on doing is putting this in and dailying it for a while until I break it or sell it or do whatever. But the plan is to actually get this car running and to drive it. Like, not like the silver car where I just buy it and sell it. Not with the black car, because the black car is the same deal. Like, I'm gonna, you know, grab it up, make it look good, and then turn around and sell it. So those are the processes. But as you guys know, the STI is something that I've wanted for a long time, me and the wifey. So I planned on getting this clutch just so that she can drive it, I can drive it. Although the wifey can drive the 550 horsepower Evo. She has no issues with that at all, as long as I'm not in the car, because she gets super nervous. So anyway, that's what I kind of rolled up with. In the second box back here is the pressure plate. So yeah, and then in that bag over there, this should be the new throwout bearing and monolock collar. So let's open that. Hopefully that is exactly what I said it is. Yes. Yes. Well, no, release bearing. Just the release bearing. I was hoping for a monolock collar, but I don't think that I'm going to get one. I thought that it came with this kit, but apparently I could be wrong. Let's check this box here. Let's see. No, it does. It comes with a monolock collar, so which is good. I was getting a little afraid there for a second. But anyway, yeah, it has everything that you need here to change out your clutch. And yeah, I will be getting to that in probably this video, just because I don't have a lot to work on here except for this, the oil feed, and the what do you want to call that, cylinder 4 cooling mod. So those are my 4 things that I plan on doing today in this video. So let's just get rocking. People, so I do have the oil feed line on, and it's very weird because Force Performance, they actually have a nice, really nice braided line that comes with the turbo, which is freaking awesome. But I will tell you this, the instructions on it is weird just because it doesn't include the motor that I have in front of me here. So it includes, there's a type 1 and a type 2. So type 1 comes, the oil feed is back behind the engine and comes up over and comes right out here. Type 2 is one that it's plumbed from here, the oil feed from here goes up over to the AVCS. So which is good, but the problem is that it's not the same. It's not exactly the same. So I just went with the Type 2 that feeds the the AVCS, and I think that'll be good. The problem is that the line is super duper long, which I guess they do for a reason so that everybody can kind of use it. But I kind of wanted to snake these lines in and out of here just so like, they're not really seen. Give it a little bit more of a stealthy look. So I kind of routed it up underneath this pipe here, and it came across and then right to the AVCS. So that's what we're gonna leave this one off. This one's really, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. We'll see like once it's in the car how much I actually see, just because the only other way that you can kind of do it is to come straight out and right to it. So I really didn't want to do that. If anything, I might just have it go flat out 90 degrees and go straight back to the engine like this. Because see, like the profile now, it's like kind of like tilted that way. I'm like I said before, I'm 50-50 on it. I'm gonna see how it works when it's in the car. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna get the parts for the, what do you want to call that? Cylinder 4 cooling mod. So a couple of the things that you might just need. You might you're gonna need for sure something to get in here. So I think this is a 10 or 12 millimeter Allen. So if you do have, your day is gonna be good. But the place that I got mine from, I think they included one, so which is good. But Lord only knows, you gotta see if it's actually gonna work in there and not cause you too many problems. Because I have broken parts into like things like this. So just be careful whenever you're doing this. So I'm gonna get my parts and I'm gonna show you exactly what I got going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that is really it for the Cylinder 4 cooling mod. So what you will need is a 12 millimeter Allen key. So mine is from Carlisle. I get my Allen keys from Carlisle, but this is an impact rated one. Obviously I didn't use an impact wrench on this. I wouldn't suggest you using impact wrenches on anything that's aluminum, because you could either strip or break it right into place, and that's not what you want. So the only things that really that you really need to be concerned about is that there's really like no torque rating for this fitting here. So it is a, like, I think it's an M10 if I'm not mistaken. It looks like an M10. And then all you really get is I don't know, about a foot of hose or so, and it's rated for fuel and coolant, so which is what it's going to be. And with this kit from Flat 4 Motorsports, you get a T and you get some clamps. So it's really nothing super special, but it'll help your motor dramatically, because Cylinder 4 is the what the hell? Oh, it's just hitting this. Yeah. So Cylinder 4 is the one that's farthest away from your cooling system, so it doesn't really get a lot of coolant into that passage. That's why you get Cylinder 4 ringland failure, stuff like that. So this kit will dramatically help. In my case, it's really not going to be that much of an issue, but let's help prevent Cylinder 4 from like warping or doing anything retarded, or I shouldn't say retarded, I should say stupid, just stupid. But this will fit on just like this here, and you just route your T into your coolant lines that are come to one of these two coolant lines, and yeah, you should be perfectly safe, like running this T, and everything should flow really nicely in and out throughout this, because there are coolant passages that do go around Cylinder 4, but there's no flow through, there's no blow through. So that's why they actually give and sell this kit. So it will help with the build, and my build, your build, everybody's build on their Subaru. So moving on to the next thing, you will need to cut and splice into your hoses. That's what everything like this is for, so just keep that in mind. So I will take this off because there's going to be no reason for me to actually use this for right now until it is actually in the car. The hardest part is actually getting the old fitting off, which I said before is a 12 millimeter Allen key, and then getting this new one on. So I suggest, if you don't plan on ever taking this thing off, get some red, you know, locking red seal, you know, like whatever, I don't know what you want to call this. It's thread locker. Just get some thread locker. I use thread locker red for things like this, just because I don't think it's never coming out. Even when you pull the motor, it's still gonna come out with the motor, you know, because normal Subaru motors come out from the top, so you'll never have to worry about that. All right, so on to the next thing. I want to, it is time to actually get this bad boy and put everything together as far as the cylinders. So I got spark plugs for it, like I showed you before. I got a set of Denso Iridiums, which I'm not really a big fan of, like I said, but I'm gonna put those in. But before you do anything, always, when you're doing a fresh build or you got your motor out or anything like that, make sure, while your motor is out and you're doing stuff like this, that you actually just crank over the motor a couple times. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this is still a fresh build, so 0 miles on it and such, but the one thing that you really want to do before you start putting your spark plugs in and adding compression, just make sure that your engine still turns over with no, you know, binding or doing anything like that, just because if you do have an issue, now is the time to fix it while it's completely outside the car. So I'm gonna just give it a couple spins. All right. All right, and that's perfect. You know, like that's all you really want. You want to make sure that there's no issues or binding before you actually get these bad boys in. And yeah, so since the spark plugs are the worst thing to go on these things, you know, like you have to take half the motor apart to actually get to the spark plugs, or half the engine bay, I should say, half the engine bay to get to the spark plugs. It's a good idea to get them in now before you actually put it in the car. So that's what we're gonna do, so watch me work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so don't be like me. All right, when I say don't be like me, I mean don't try to gap your Iridium spark plugs. I didn't mess mine up in any way, shape, or form, but I've used this old, you know, it's like this little circle gapper tool. I've used this for years. Never had any issues with any kind of spark plugs, although I have used them on Iridiums. You're not really supposed to. You're supposed to use like a feeler gauge or something like that. That is, you know, a lot better so that you don't mess up the tip. But just to gap these things, I don't know what others are doing to actually gap these, but with me, I just use a vice grip, you know, or a vice grip, a clamp. I just set them in here, turn them a little bit, measure. But this really doesn't do any damage to any of the parts of the spark plug, which is good. So I've used this for years, this method, never had any issues. So if you plan on doing your own, you know, spark plug gapping and stuff like that, just get yourself a feeler gauge and get yourself the correct tool. I'm pretty old school, so like I've used this, like I said, for years, never had any issues. So I'm gonna set that off to the side now. With all of my turbo cars, my Evo, GTR, all of them, every single turbo car that I've ever owned, I always gap them super duper tight. When I see super tight, I think the tolerances for the STI are somewhere around the 35 to 40 gap range. And you know, turbo cars really don't like that. So I always gap my plugs between 22 and 25 thousandths. And I've never had any issues, never had any spark blowout, never had any issues with boosting, part problems, anything like that. Never had any issues. So before I got to this number, I used to have issues. So anything above 30 thousandths gap, spark plug gap, I always had spark blowout. And you know, with time, I actually learned how to do, you know, 25 to 22 thousandths is the magic number for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw these bad boys in. Everybody's done spark plugs in a car before, so it's really not that special to watch. So I'll pick it up after I'm done, all right? All right, people, so we're at the point where we're not so much at a standstill, but I do have all the spark plugs in, and I do have all of the coil packs on and wired up. I do have the oil feed line plumbed. I do have the, you know, this piece for the cylinder for a cooling mod all finished up. And lastly, I do have the, you know, recirculating, you know, pipe for the blow off valve back on. So again, I don't know if I'm gonna really run this, but I'm gonna keep it for right now. I think that's really about it. The last thing I really want to do is I want to take and I want to get this off the stand, because I think it's about time. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about the barometric sensor. I see a lot of YouTubers and a bunch of guys that don't want to run it. They actually just cut it out. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do there. With this wire dangling, I don't really like this, so I think I'm going to try and I don't know, put it somewhere or do something with it. I don't know. I might just, I have these things here, which I was thinking about just putting it here. Yeah, actually, I think I'm probably just gonna do that. So, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna wheel the, you know, what do you want to call that? Cherry picker. Wheel the cherry picker over here, and I'm gonna get this bad boy off the stand, put everything in the back on, and then we can move on to actually getting the clutch on and then the flywheel and all that type of stuff. So yeah, just watch me work. Let's go. People, it's been a while. I'm so sorry. Like, there was you know, for you guys it'll probably be a couple seconds. For me it was a little bit. I couldn't get you know, the caulk or whatever, the silicone to actually get out. It was being a pain, so I had to do a couple things to get it flowing correctly and blah 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 blah. So anyway, it is now time to actually put our flywheel on. So if you guys are you know, have been watching the build for a while, or even back in the day when I first started with the Evo, I took 2 flywheels to the machine shop to get done, and this is our OEM flywheel that I had cut. So it is in really good shape, and this is what I plan on running. So I really didn't want to run an aftermarket flywheel. I didn't want this thing to rev like crazy. Like I said before, I've been saying, and I will say again, I want it to be a nice daily driver. It's not going to be a super duper race car or anything crazy like that. So this is why I went with what I went with. So a you know, stock flywheel that's cut is good. So I mean, a new one would have been just as good because it would have been cleaned up really nice. But you know, this used one that's cleaned up is good. So yeah, it looks really good. So that's what we will be using. So as far as flywheel bolts, my suggestion, don't use any flywheel bolts that you've taken off the car. I have a bunch of them sitting right here waiting to go in. They are 12 points, so I will be using a 12-point socket for these, and there is 8 of them. So those are the ones I will be using. So let's just get to it. Okay, people, like anything else, there is problems. So the flywheel that I have is correct. It is correct, 100%. But the bolts I have are not correct. They are super short. I'm gonna show you. So I gotta go back and I gotta get some bolts. So these are the bolts that I was sent, and yeah, I'll show you guys. So yeah, see that? That's like 2 threads. So not happening, not good. So I'm gonna send these bad boys back to where I got them from, but I don't feel like waiting, so I'm gonna call my local Subaru spot and I'm gonna try to see if I can't get bolts for the flywheel. Yeah, because I don't think any parts places are gonna have these things in stock or anything like that. The closest that I'm gonna get to stock would be the dealership. So it kind of sucks to go to the dealership, but you know what? Sometimes it is what it is. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna leave this video off. We do have the motor off the stand, which is a really, really good thing. Super excited to see where it winds up. I was hoping to get the flywheel and the clutch on today, but that's just not gonna happen, so which kind of sucks. So this is where I'm gonna leave this one off. If you like this video, hopefully you found it entertaining or whatever. But yeah, I will be back at it very, very, very soon, either next day or a couple days from now, and we can start moving forward with this project. So yeah, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit that bell for notification, maybe think about subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, deuces.